Hi everyone, welcome to the sixth video. I'm calling it a bonus video because I hadn't originally planned to include it, but I just thought it might help some people who are relatively new to, having their own niche blog. So if you're familiar with what to do with these blogs once you get them in your hands, if you're familiar with, SEO and the fact that you need to change articles, then there's probably no real need to watch this video. But for those of you who purchase these videos and you're trying to figure out what to do, I basically just wanted to go over the fact that I highly recommend you change these articles, make them somewhat unique, if not totally unique. These are PLR articles, so that everybody who buys these blogs will have the same articles on their site. So if I were the customer and I purchased this blog, that's one of the first things I would do. I'd either completely rename these articles and rewrite them, or outsource brand new ones. You could keep them, but maybe just have them archived. In other words, add more new articles so that the overall blog is more unique. But even before you do that, the first thing I'd recommend that you do is to consider, what niche you want to target. Bodybuilding is a very broad niche, so consider micro niches, because it's going to be a lot easier to rank for and get traffic. For example, I typed in online bodybuilding tips and bodybuilding tips into Google, and for all countries, exact match. And as you can see, the actual key phrase doesn't really get any searches. Well, I don't think that's entirely true, but the way the data, however, bodybuilding tips does. And with exact match, global monthly search volume is quite high, almost 15,000. But this is a great example where you could look for, you could target something like bodybuilding tips for beginners, or natural bodybuilding tips, or even weightlifting, strength training, building muscle. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to have the keyword bodybuilding in your title. And then the next thing, of course, so once you've determined, this is pretty targeted in the sense online bodybuilding tips, so it's bodybuilding tips that you can find online. So an article like this, bodybuilding supplements, that still pertains, because it's still within the niche of bodybuilding. Whether I'd have that as a top article, I'd probably not. You can see here bodybuilding tips, so that's a perfect article where I'd probably keep it, but I would definitely rewrite it. I'd rewrite all these anyway, but I might move this one to the top. What's nice is having your keywords in the image alt tag. So you can see here it says bodybuilding tips. It's basically taking the title of the article and adding as an alt tag. So the first thing I would do is go to my posts, and I would change that to online bodybuilding tips. And of course you want to edit the post slug, and you add a hyphen between keywords or words in your title and click OK. So that automatically is going to be slightly better for Google to understand what my site's about in terms of indexing and ranking the site. You can edit the articles just inside your post area here. So when you are starting a bodybuilding program, that's obviously not very good English, but as a, or let's see, if you are a beginner to bodybuilding, you may want to consider searching for tips and tricks from professionals to help you build a solid workout routine, something like that. I mean, that only took me a few seconds. And then just go through. So here, these bodybuilding tips, these online, I can spell, online bodybuilding tips are, from experts, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to read this article, or you can just do a Control A to copy everything. Copy this, open up Notepad, paste it in there if it's easier, you know, for you to rewrite the article. And then once you've rewritten it, you come in here, Control A, delete all that, paste it in. Notice I'm in HTML mode. You know, but at the very least, do that. You know, change your articles. You know, rewritten or brand new articles. You know, I might even I've got bodybuilding. I've got tips there as well, so I would add online as a tag. I don't get carried away with tags, but you know, I suppose it doesn't hurt. And you know, this is using the all-in-one SEO plugin. You can, if you don't put anything there, it'll automatically grab the title of your article. But description, you might want to create a custom description, or just write online bodybuilding tips. This article discusses bodybuilding tips and suggests the right way to develop a solid bodybuilding workout routine, something like that. So you got your keywords in there twice. You've got your main key phrase here. That's something I do, but that's getting more into SEO, and once again, I didn't want to necessarily go into that. You've got bodybuilding tips as a category. So first of all, let me update this. As you can see now, if I hover over this image, it says bodybuilding tips, because that's currently the name of the article. I've changed it to online bodybuilding tips. Changed it here as well. Update that. And then go and refresh my home page. Okay, so online bodybuilding tips, and now the alt tag shows online bodybuilding tips. And then I'd probably even go to categories. You don't have to do this, but I might edit that and put online bodybuilding tips. Once again, your category slug, just like with your post slug. Update that. I mean, now you've got a category called online bodybuilding tips, and then an article called online bodybuilding tips. And you know, I'd just be a little bit wary of keyword. You know, Google might think you're keyword spamming somewhat, but overall, that's going to be better for SEO. And Google's going to say, okay, this site is definitely about online bodybuilding tips. You know, the main reason for this video was to talk about changing your articles. But even your images, you know, I put alt tags for the name of the actual product. So this ClickBank product is called TuckFit Commando. You could add your key phrase, online bodybuilding tips in my case, to the images. I like to do that actually quite often. Once again, that's getting into SEO. But the whole point is to, once you have one of these blogs installed in 5 or 10 minutes, you know, it's time to go in and start to tweak some of these things. So, you know, those two little ad squares, these 125 by 125 banners, if, you know, I may want to, once again, it's probably easier to do a Control A, right click, copy, or Control V, open up Notepad, paste that in there, and then I would look for, instead of TuckFit Commando, I might want to put my keywords, online body, building tips, for the title of the link, the title of the image, and the alt tag. Okay, then I take all that, copy it, go back over here, Control A to highlight it all, delete it, paste it back in, update, or click save, update the site. Once again, I have the worst internet, I tell you. It's not like I'm paying the highest amount as well. Anyway, so there you go, online bodybuilding tips. You know, so that there's that's how I personally would start to configure the site once you've decided on a sub niche, you know, or a niche. So if you already know this stuff, apologize for being repetitive, but you know, hopefully new people will benefit from this and realize, okay, yeah, it's best that I change some of these out, and you know, just go through your site and really try to make it as optimized for your niche. And I think, you know, as long as it's not an uber competitive keyword like bodybuilding, forget it. You know, you're going to be competing against big sites, but you know, online bodybuilding tips for beginners, something like that. You know, that could do very well for you. Plus, it's a more targeted key phrase. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. Just remember to change these out, make your blog more unique than the next person who has the same blog. It's really the same articles, and I wish you best of luck. Thanks very much.